Uh-oh. Hey Sprouts fans! Here we are on the terrace and I'm super excited today because I'm going to teach you how to do something that I'm really passionate about. It's one of my favorite parts of the terrace, which is my compost. And I'm going to show you how to make your own compost at home. So here's how you get started. Okay, so what you need to create your compost bin is a few things. I've created mine out of these plastic milk crates. The great thing about these milk crates and why they work so well for a compost bin is because there's a lot of holes, and compost needs a lot of air, and it also needs a place for water to drain. The other thing that's great is they stack one on top of the other. So that's going to be important later when we are rotating our compost. So the first step is you need to get yourself 3 milk crates like this. And what I like to do is use just some old newspaper. You can use brown paper bags, anything that is going to just help the material not fall through. Just lay it down in the bottom, and then I like to take a couple pieces and lay them up the sides as well. The newspaper is thin enough that water can drain through, and eventually it will all decompose as well. The next thing you need to know about making your own compost, and really the golden rule of compost, is that you need to layer brown with green. So what that means is brown is like dried things, lawn clippings, old leaves, dried grass, brown paper, paper towel, newspaper. Anything that's dried is generally seen as brown. Things that are seen as green are like kitchen scraps, vegetable peels, anything that, like eggshells. Here I have some examples. This is an old cucumber, some old kale. These are all of our kitchen scraps. And that's what's going to create the nice ecosystem inside your compost bin. Okay, so I'm going to start this bin now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer in some of this green kitchen waste first. And now what you do is you're going to add some brown on top of that. These are old stalks from the sunchokes. I'm just going to add some of that on there. So now you want to put some more green on top of that. And eggshells are good. Like if you crush them up, it's good. They break down a lot better. Okay. And now even more green on top of that. You want to break it up and kind of move it around, move it to the edges. Okay, and so now that I've put more green, I'm going to add more brown. Green items provide nitrogen, and they also provide some moisture, and the brown provides carbon. And so this creates an environment. When it's balanced, it creates a perfect microbial environment that allows for these things to break down. You're creating a balanced environment for the decomposition to take place. So the reason you need 3 separate bins is so that you can rotate your compost. And what that is you're basically adding the other ingredient, which is time. As you are composting, you're going to rotate these bins. Once the top bin, which is the new bin that we just created, is full, you'll move that to the middle bin. And the bottom bin, which is pretty much done, you'll empty into your garden and then move it back to the top and fill it the same as I just showed you. And that way you're giving this middle bin time to decompose to the stage that it needs to be. And then you just keep rotating. This is an example of a compost that is getting very close to being ready to put in the garden. You can see it has turned darker in color. You can see less obvious vegetable scraps, and it's just looking a lot more like dirt than really anything else. And what I'm doing here, poking around and stirring around the compost, one of the reasons why you need to stir it is all the microorganisms that are working for you in here are going to need oxygen. And in order to keep a balanced environment, you have to stir it, or else you're going to create an anaerobic environment, which is an environment with no oxygen. And different microorganisms exist in those environments than in one that's well aerated. And it's going to affect the way that your compost is breaking down. So just make sure that you stir it around a lot. The more that you stir your compost, the faster it's going to decompose. Okay, so now that you have your top bin filled with all of your brown and green layers, just put it right on top. And you can continue filling this with your kitchen scraps or lawn clippings. You need to maintain a certain moisture level in the bin. So what I like to do, especially once I've filled a bin, and if there's a lot of brown ingredients, I like to just put a little bit of water. You want your pile to be damp, but not soaking wet. I like to as well place a cover on top, and I use this clear plastic cover because it allows the sunshine to get in, and heat is also a really important part of composting. When it's warm, all the bacteria and microorganisms and bugs that are in the compost have reawakened, and they're hungry and they're starting to munch on all the good stuff we have in here. The other thing I like to do to help with the heat is add a little bit of weight. So I have these old planters, they're just little concrete blocks, and I'll settle them on top. And the pressure creates a warmer environment, and this is going to break down a little bit faster. So that's how you make your at-home compost bin. If you have any questions about this process or anything at all, please leave them in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel on YouTube and like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Oh, there's a big worm there. Haha, good.